Okay, process costing today in this lecture. There's no easy way around this chapter. I remember when I took this class, God, like 30 years ago, I remember somebody telling me that this chapter was going to be really difficult and this concept really difficult. And I remember heading into the week super freaked out about what to anticipate and whether I was going to make it and whether or not my whole accounting journey was going to come to a complete standstill like in this chapter. But I got to the end and I was like, actually, it wasn't really that bad. It's not that complicated. There are a few concepts that we do want to like stop and really think about, and I'll go through those in a separate presentation. But for now, I want to just kind of go over, the high level of what process costing is, right? So the rest of the videos, they're going to be directed at, again, I'm going to cover this in this lecture, explain process costing and contrast it with job costing. Um, we're not going to worry about conceptual issue two. We're not going to worry about illustrate a hybrid costing process. We're really going to start focusing on the procedures. The rest of the lectures are really going to be built around compute process activity costing using a weighted average approach. Then we will do a production cost report. So the first P1 really is like understanding the conceptual issue, and then P2 is taking that conceptual issue and really just putting it into a report. So P1 really is the heavy lifting, and then we'll do record the flow of production costs and process costing. That part's it's review; it's not too difficult. And then finally, P4, record the transfer of goods across departments. Again, that's actually not too bad either. The heavy lifting really is um, understanding P1, and it'll be the next lecture. But for now, I think I want to just kind of go through what process costing is and how it's different from job costing. Okay, process costing. I know I'm going to misspell it. Process costing. Man, that's one of the better words that I've written so far. Process costing. It's like probably spelled correctly and it looks nice. Okay, but process costing. If we think about job costing, we were making one particular product, right? So if we were making a table, um, it was just like one table or a group of the same tables, and there was really only one real process associated with making a table or using job costing. In process costing, the real fundamental difference is that we're using this approach to determine the cost of a product that's being mass produced, right? So any homogeneous product that's mass produced is going to use process costing, and then unique low volume products where everyone is a little bit different, we're going to be using job costing, right? So process costing, like I always think of, I equate everything to food. If I can turn accounting into food, I'm definitely going to do it. And process costing, it's a great way to talk about food. Okay, so again, we have raw materials, right? And let's say that I'm making peanut M&Ms. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do to make a peanut M&M, if you think about a peanut M&M, it's got that like the peanut center, and we're probably going to have to roast that peanut center, right? So I'm going to go get a bunch of peanuts and oil or whatever, however you roast peanuts. I have no idea. I love food, but I don't know anything about making it. Um, but we can call this like the roasting division. Okay. We're going to like pour a bunch of um, material into some ovens, and then we're going to roast our our peanuts. While we are roasting our peanuts, right? We're going to incur some labor, right? And then I'll just even call this direct material and direct labor. And we're also going to incur manufacturing overhead. And when we are finished roasting some peanuts, we're going to allocate that manufacturing overhead to those peanuts. And then here's the big difference. The peanut isn't finished yet, okay? Like, sorry, the peanut M&M isn't finished yet. The best parts of it aren't even like, we haven't even talked about it yet, right? Believe it or not, I'm not a big chocolate person, but we would go to the chocolate division. I don't even know what you would call this, right? But we're going to now add that chocolate inner layer over the peanut, okay? And so all of the costs from roasting are going to get transferred over to chocolate, and literally all the peanuts get transferred over to roasting. And then I have no idea how you would put chocolate around a peanut, but I'm thinking maybe you like pour chocolate around a peanut into a mold and then you freeze or you chill the chocolate so that it becomes hardened so that you can kind of work with it, right? But while we're doing that, we're going to incur more direct labor. Somebody's going to have to actually, you know, receive the peanuts and then go get some of the chocolate from raw material. So here's something interesting. We are going to grab raw material and use it as an input. So if you think about the second division, right? We have our own manufacturing associated with that second division as well. So if I think about the costs associated with the second division, I'm going to have all of the costs from the roasting division. Then I'm going to have all of the direct material related to the chocolate division, then the direct labor related to chocolate, and then finally the manufacturing overhead related to the chocolate division. So I now have 4 costs to account for, and I'm not even finished, right? So in addition to putting the chocolate, I have like the candy outer layer, and then I have to also package it. And all of the same stuff is going to happen in the third division, right? We're going to put that sugary coat, the hard candy, around the molded chocolate and roasted peanut. And again, we're going to incur more direct labor there. There are going to be different individuals that work in this department. Then there's going to be different material, right? Again, we have to grab more material. And then we're going to have our own manufacturing overhead. So this third division is literally going to now have 5 costs. You can think of that like analogy where there's a snowball, rolling down the mountain. The further down the mountain it gets, like the more snow is accumulated, right? So the snowball starts real small, and then it's like a snowball effect where you just like the snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger the further down the mountain it gets. Okay. Finally, when the stuff is finished, it gets sent to finished goods, and then once it's sold, it is sold, and we recognize revenue, cost of goods sold, etc., etc. Okay, so big difference. Process costing is where we're mass producing. Okay, and there's multiple divisions. That is the big difference between process costing and job costing.